Hey y'all, welcome to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady hanging out with
the Independence Day or weekend, Marty McFly. I'm independent this weekend. So
I'm independent. You know what? I'm glad you said that because we all supposed to be independent, but you know.
Well. Well, I might be just going on a trip and my wife gonna stay home, so I'm gonna be independent.
Oh my God, Marty.
And honestly, so it don't sound like the wrong thing. Me and my brothers are going golfing.
Okay. Please don't ever talk about me. But anyway, you guys, welcome to the Donnie Jones Live show.
You mean don't talk about you? What? You got to fill in the blank on that one. You just got to let me hang. Like, don't ever talk about me.
I'm trying to say hi to the people.
Oh,
I'm trying to say hi to the people, but you're trying to get caught up in the fact that now you can no longer talk about me being bougie and you out there playing golf. Okay, cool.
Golf is not a bougie sport.
Once again, I just want to say hi to y'all out there.
Hello, everybody. And happy Independence Weekend. Happy 4th of July weekend. And the whole 9 yards. And still, please be safe during these weekends. But going back to what but I ain't letting you off of it because there's a whole bunch of African Americans on all different scales of life that play golf.
But that's what I keep trying to tell you. Like if I go on a trip if I go to the beach or if I go to
the beach ain't no problem. Right now I wouldn't go there, but you be going snorkeling and you going scuba diving and stuff like that. I'm saying some of us go scuba diving, but just not all the time.
We do. Yeah. Actually, Will Smith had a fear of the water. He was talking about the fear of the ocean or something like that. And he actually went on a scuba diving trip to overcome that fear. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's not a good example, though. No. I'm saying you to get
Why
real
is that not
big.
A good example?
Because he ain't really no more in our community. He ain't got the same struggles. I'm saying he's a little bit more farther out there. I'm saying, you can say that bougie because I can see him going, skiing and stuff like that. Because he
does ski.
Yeah, right. When you have that kind of money, you can ski.
That's not true because I don't have Will Smith kind of money, and
But you got Donnie Jones money. You got a tree service type money. When you got 15, 17 employees, you got when you got a couple of different vehicles. What I hear you say, the truck broke down. Well, can you get the other one? Well, what about the Ford? What about did you charge the electric car? Most people ain't on that level. So I'm just
Marty. Guess what? But here's the thing, though. We all black, and it's so funny. There's a there's a video.
There's a video.
I heard you say, that.
Just stay focused. There's a video. Yes.
I don't know. You just made me lose my train of thought. But we are not. There's a video by Key and Peele, and it's actually about. It's a joke. They're joking about Black Republicans, but the term, which I'm not one, but the term that they use are "we are not a monolith," and I just thought that was so funny because they were all pretty much the same type of dude. But going back to the fact that we as Black people are not a monolith, meaning we come in all different. Flavors, all different type of flavors and what we like, what we don't like and stuff like that.
Let me ask you a question because I've heard this before, but how does it make you feel when someone of the opposite race, they'll say a bunch of things and say, but I'm not a racist. I want to make sure you know.
I always tell people, if you got to end the sentence with, but I'm not a racist, that generally means, or start a sentence. I don't mean to sound racist. But you're going to sound if you start any sentence like that or end a sentence like that, whatever you said is racist. And that means to me that you got some kind of racist tendencies.
Right. And I was wondering because every time you say, look, I'm not a Republican, but this, that.
Oh, heck no.
And then you turn around, but I'm not a Republican, but this, and just one of those things that I was
he called me on that one. See, Marty be thinking 10 steps ahead of things, and then he be catching me in a net that I don't want to be in. I'm just saying, because there's this ideology that to be Black, you got to act, think, and do things a certain way. And because sometimes I kind of step outside that paradigm, I sometimes use the disclaimer that I'm not a Republican. Just because I'm a capitalist doesn't mean I'm a Republican, because I'm not. I'm independent. So now I'm going to start with, instead of saying I'm not a Republican, I'm going to say, because I'm independent, such and such and such.
That might be better. That might be a better way.
I'm going to do
because
that.
I'm independent. Well, what's your favorite color?
In that category. What?
Is red still your favorite color? Anyway, you know what, Donnie? We're gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna put a pin in that because, you know, it's interesting with what you're saying right now. Our guest on the show today is amazing. You know, and I'm not gonna say the name yet, but you know, when you see somebody on TV or you hear their music, you put them in a box in a sense and just say, you know, they're a rapper and all they can do is just like the lady said about LeBron James. Just play basketball. You're a basketball player. And they put you in these boxes. But this brother, you know, when I was growing up listening to his music,
come on now,
and some of the things that I realized he put together, it's like, and when we got a chance to talk to him, you know, before the interview, well, we're going to talk to him in a second, but when we got a chance to talk to him, I was like, this brother is deep. We got to get him on the show.
Oh my gosh, he's so deep. He's so good.
So I'm going to give y'all just a little teaser, okay? He was the first rapper to perform solo on the Grammys.
That's
okay.
Right.
He was the first rapper that actually do the full performance by himself on the Grammys.
That's right.
You know, and he was the first one I think nominated too.
That's right. And he won a Grammy in 1991.
Oh, he did.
Yes, he did.
That was cool. You know, and so with the political climate right now, he reminded me that he was one of the people that put this whole music thing together. When we was growing up, it was a song that I was just like, it was powerful, and actually it should be really played now.
Yes, it should.
The song was called Self-Destruction. We're headed for self-destruction. You know, and it had all of the hip hop legends of that time, or the top, the ones that were on top of their game in a sense.
That's right.
You know, was all doing this conscious album.
Yes.
And you know, I didn't realize he was the founder of it. Yes. And you know, he's trying to kind of do that again now.
That's right. That's right. He's got some things in the works, guys. So I think that the fact that he is coming on our show, he's sharing his knowledge and sharing his energy with you all is an absolute blessing. And I think it's a sign of the times that our consciousness is raising. And it's about time that it starts to be raised. But this brother's been conscious his whole career. And one thing I liked about him is he was one of the first rappers to actually talk about the fact that we do need to pay attention to the business side of the industry. We need to do for self. And like you said, address self-destruction.
You know, so we got this guy coming up, and even though he has some issues with, he has some beef and stuff like that in the past, and we don't talk about it. We ain't gonna hype on that. You know, he because see now when I say this, you know, people are gonna automatically know who I'm talking about. Okay, because I'm gonna say this. You know,
tease him, my brother, tease him.
You know, it was, he had a cover. Okay, he had an album cover that he was standing in front of a Jeep, and you saw his rival's signature hat under the front tire.
Come on now.
You remember that?
I remember that.
He had his rival's little kangaroo hat.
Yeah, come on
that front tire.
Pause right there, because I want to say something. Okay. We got a few minutes before we go to break, but here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do real quick. If y'all already know who we talking about, we're going to give y'all a few minutes to call into the show and tell us who you think we're talking about, who's coming up in our next segment. Our number is 1-888-349-DONNIE. That's 1-888-349-DONNIE. Call us, tell us your name, tell us where you're from, and tell us who you think we talking about.
Right, because I'm saying with all of those hints, you know, especially that last one.
Come on now.
Gotta know. I'm saying if you are now, I know. I'm sorry. We're on some religious stations, and I will let you know right now. It's not Kirk Franklin.
It ain't.
You know, it's nobody in that.
It's not Hezekiah Walker.
It ain't Hezekiah Walker. You know, just to make sure we're clear. You know, but everybody can give consciousness, and you know something I didn't realize about this brother, but he is He said he's never did drugs.
Yeah,
He never, experienced it or had a drink or anything. So if anything, he is a righteous brother.
Yeah, and he's an educated brother.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, if you know who we're talking about or who's coming on, give us a call right now and let us know. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and give us who you think it is. And that number is 1-888-349 DON. No, I always messed that up. I'm so excited. But 1-888-349 Donnie. That's 1-888-349 DONI. And if you're not if you're not by your phone, you can always send us an email.
That's right.
What's the email, Donnie?
The email is Donnie, DONI at Donnie Jones Live. That's Donnie, DONI at Donnie Jones Live, because we want to find out who you think it is to see if you up on your hip hop game. Because I know you ain't been listening to gospel music your whole life.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Come on now. Come on.
And during the week, we already know. You know all the words to that song.
I ain't gonna lie.
What's the hot one now? Bougie, rat. What? Okay, we can't say that on the radio. I don't know. Can we say ratchet on the radio?
Can you say what?
Ratchet.
Yeah, ratchet.
Okay. I just
ratchet. Where is that? How is that a bad? That's just.
Well, we're on the gospel music.
And it's still, you got some ratchet gospel people. You got some ratchet Christians. You got a whole lot of ratchetness going on. Trust me, that's an appropriate word.
Oh
Look, we're going to take a break because we're going to go in a whole different direction, talking about some ratchet, Holy Ghost-filled people. But anyway, you're listening to Donnie Jones Live with Donnie Jones, Marty McFly, and we're coming back with our guest for this show. So stay tuned.
Very special guest.
Yep, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones.
Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie, the Tree Lady, hanging out with
that guy, Marty McFly, making it do what it do. And like I said, Donnie, I'm excited about this moment right now. This guy that's on.
Super excited.
This guy that's on. I grew up listening to his music. He was one of the pioneers. He made me want to be what I am now. A producer and a rapper. Well, I ain't a rapper no more.
Well, you're a little bit of a rapper. You're a little bit of a rapper, but he's definitely one of the pioneers of hip hop. One of the first rappers to ever receive a Grammy. The first rapper to receive a Grammy.
I think performed on the Grammys.
On the Grammys.
Before we mess up anything else, ladies and gentlemen, please show y'all love for Mr. Kool D.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
That is what's up. We have a little feedback. Now, just to make sure, you were the first one to receive a Grammy. I mean, you were the first one to perform on the Grammys, right? The first rapper?
Almost and almost on both. The very first, the first actual rapper on that performed on the Grammys was Melly Mel with Shaka Khan.
Oh, wow.
But you were the first rapper to receive a Grammy, weren't you?
No, Will Smith got that first.
Oh,
I was the first one nominated, and I got one, but I was the first one nominated. I got the NAACP Image Award for the first rap category, so I was the first rapper to get that. But the Grammy. And I performed the night that Will Smith won the Grammy. I performed, so I was the first person to actually do it a solo without anybody else, and I introduced the category. So it was a lot of mixing about that stuff too. But I take the hype; it was cool.
Well, I personally think you deserve the hype. You absolutely deserve the hype, and I'm excited about having you on the show. I really am. And in my mind, the Wild Wild West was my go-to song back in the day, and it's even my go-to song right now.
I'll take it.
I was go to work.
Yeah.
But I want to ask so many questions. I do want to, I don't want to focus too much on, years back,
right.
But it's so much that's going on right now in the climate, with the riots and the policing and everything. And I want to know from the pioneers, for one, what are your viewpoints of how this world is going on right now?
Yes.
You know, and what is your feelings right now?
Woo. Man, I would have to pick an aspect to talk about because my hate is full circle. When I say I hate the state of the world, I don't really hate the world.
I can be more specific. I can be very more specific.
Okay.
The idea of what we're dealing with right now with police brutality and reform within the police departments or the people policing our neighborhoods.
Well, one of the things that happened, and I since you guys seem to know the history of it pretty good, we made a record called Self-Destruction.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was myself and KRS-One and MC Light and that's a Sonic PE. And we made that record because we were talking about the exact same thing. I tell people this is basically like our life is on a loop because we will not, well, I'll say we, just based on being here. America does not want to accept that there is a fundamental problem based on the infrastructure of racism.
That's right.
And the reason that is like a loop. I don't know if you ever read them. It's a book called Mumbo Jumbo by Ishmael Reed. And he talks about the just group. It just keeps happening over and over and over again. And we do something really quick to get the quick fix.
It's called a Band-Aid.
Get people to be calm. It's like calming the problem. It's almost like putting a Band-Aid on an actual gunshot. It's like you're stopping the bleeding for a moment, but it's still injury inside and we're not taking care of that. So when we did that record back then, we were trying to make a difference. And I think the only difference or the biggest difference right now was because we're in the pandemic space, we now have a point in time where there's no other distractions for people to get busy with other things. So when the George Floyd thing happened, there was no LeBron hit 40 after the incident. Yeah. There's no baseball game to go to. There's no All-Star. There's nothing else to focus on. And we didn't realize, I would say collectively, would not realize how much of a distraction sports represents. It is not big business because it's not a distraction. Right. Part of what America does in the infrastructure of the what happens in racism is whatever they put money into, you have to believe it is for a purpose.
That's right.
And I'm not saying that I don't enjoy sports to that level, but this will probably be the first year I'm not going to be watching the NFL. Right. And I'm a little mixed about that because I love the sport, grew up on it. But when I saw the plantation mentality that happened with Kaepernick, it got to a space where I was like, I can't support it. I won't wear the jerseys. I bought them all before because I had them in every flavor and all with my name on it, whatever. And I just can't participate at a certain level because we're still continuing to go on as usual, like nothing's really happening.
Well, it's a plantation mentality and it's systemic. And the problem is, in my opinion, is that people like the same old until we start taking our dollars out of the system, nothing is going to change. And I think the only reason why we're so focused on it right now is exactly what you said. There are no distractions. So in your opinion, what can we do specifically right now as a people to supersede what's going on?
The first thing is we got to realize not only are we not a monolith, we are literally all over the place mentally in different spaces. So, and I think the problem has been happening with America is we have made our consciousness, our Black consciousness, our Afrocentric consciousness a fad. It's almost like I remember, and I lived through the 70s as a young child, and I remember in 1969, we were wearing straight pants with high waters and your socks showed, the Martin Luther King look. 1 year later, we adopted the pimp look and it went to bell bottoms and all the flashy colors or whatever. And then we were being told that Martin Luther King look was out of style. Yeah. Fast forward to the end of the decade of the 70s, nobody's wearing that Black Panther stuff anymore. Nobody's doing that. It's like it wasn't a fashion statement. So if you like red, black, and green and you wore the Afro picks back in the days, the Afro was played out. How did the Afro play out? There's no such thing as your natural self being played out. But
you better preach.
We buy all of that into the nomenclature of how we think, and in a lot of ways, we keep making our lifestyles a fashion statement. Mm-hmm. So, nobody's wearing that. It's why I kind of when I did get hot, I wouldn't buy anything name brand. I would always go get my stuff made because I wanted to be totally different.
I love
it. Not that I didn't like. Oh yeah, you don't remember? I was crazy. I wore the bright leather. You couldn't buy no lime green level nowhere, so I was always getting my stuff made at the time. So at the time that was the whole point, that we get very, very accustomed to following the trends.
Right.
And we don't get what the trends are representing and where they come from. And really, it's like manipulating us, kind of like what happens to why I tell people I'm not antisocial, but I am anti-social media. I'm looking at people who are over 45 even.
Right.
I want to go push it to 50. You're trying to keep up with what's the new trend to be online. Oh, it's not Facebook anymore. It's not MySpace anymore. You got to do this one now. Right. And you're trying to find a platform to be popular. And we've now transfixed or transposed the word from relevance, which is really popularity, and saying you're irrelevant if people don't know who you are.
Right.
I'm like, you got to be kidding. So we're fighting to be popular. And really, our democracy is turning into a popularity contest.
Right.
Whatever the most people believe in or feel is what wins. So the NFL took a position, well, it's a business position, to not support Kaepernick in the black suit because it might mess up our bottom line. So you say you won't do the right thing because not enough people believe in it. And then the climate changes now where you see the NFL say, well, we're wrong and we were wrong and we understand now. It's like, no, your bottom line is still the same thing, dictating the same thing.
But do you think they're basically saying all of this right now? You think there's so much attention right now? Or is your mindset that it's hot now because it is hot because it's fashionable? Or do you see there being actual change happening?
I think there's an actual belief breakthrough. I don't think we saw that en masse before. I think there's a level of kindergarten, first grade kind of getting it. Oh, the cops do this. It's like no matter how many times you saw it before, you still tried to justify it, and then you finally have one that you can't justify. When I saw it, I was living in LA when the Rodney King thing went down, and I said people really did not understand what was happening. And I'm like, and go from Rodney King to OJ, like people were screaming and happy. It's like we didn't win anything, but psychologically from the black community, we felt good to see that it actually worked, quote unquote, in the black man's favor for one time. And ironically, it's the one that we really couldn't really back and say, well, I don't think he did it. Well, I don't know if that, but we were glad to see him not because we had been seeing so many people lose before. So it was like an emotional outlet, so to speak. And it's not really that we thought it was valid in that sense. But yeah, for me, unfortunately, I just think that we don't see how business dictates almost everything in this culture.
Right.
We're a culture where
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was finishing. I would say it's a culture where there's definitely business over humanity. We have now taken this really, really money over people. It's where we live.
You know, I never thought that I'd see a day that NASCAR is more behind Black Lives Matter than the NFL.
You better tell somebody.
It's absolutely interesting thing. But you know, if you're just tuning in right now, we're sitting here talking to the legendary, the one of the founders, I would say, for my generation, one of the founders of hip hop, Mr. Kool D. And now you brought up another question that I want to ask you about, and but we're gonna take a quick break. But you can ponder on this real quick about the situation, what they're doing with the police about defunding them, you know, taking away this, or having another situation put in place that if it's a non-violent act or a non-violent crime, you know, calling some people that maybe specialize in defusing situations versus going to the situation saying pop, 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 freeze. You know, it's like get some people that are more trained in that. And I want to get your thoughts on it. But let's take a quick break. Right now, you're listening to Donnie Jones Live with the wonderful arborist, Donnie Jones.
And the amazing promoter and production guy, Marty Ringer.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, you go.
Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie, the tree lady, hanging out with
that guy, Marty McFly. That is, you know, my hand can't write fast enough of all this information that our guest, Mr. Kool D, is sharing with us. I'm saying it's just information that I think everybody needs to, you know, kind of really
all need to hear this. We all
and kind of, you know, meditate on it and just see what can we do. Because one thing that I hate is people just talking about it, but actually try to make some change to it.
Right.
You know, don't just complain, but what can I do to step out there and change it? You know, he's already said a few things that he is trying to do to initiate some change and bringing some people together. But before we went to the break, there are some things that are going out there on the internet about why didn't black actors work together? You know, come together on
Actors, directors, and producers.
Right, actors, directors, producers. Why didn't they form a conglomerate like Pixar, you know, and Robot and all the other ones, Jim, come together and put that money back into us? You know, what do you think? Was it Hollywood? And I'm just putting this out to both of y'all, but do y'all think that was Hollywood that's doing that, or how we say in the corporate world, if I just play the role that they want me to play, I can still get acting gigs.
Right. In other words, they just playing the game?
Right.
Well, two things, two levels always, because I tell everybody, nothing is ever left or right. We keep looking at one way or the other. Like usually it's left and right, up and down, in and out, front and back. You got to get all the angles to understand the whole picture. So what happens is, first and foremost, organically, I would assume 90% of us are in different places creatively. And we usually go to Eddie Murphy's hot. I want to get an Eddie Murphy movie. So you're kind of playing the dog versus dog eat dog kind of situation, because everybody's trying to one up the other person. Because one thing that's underestimated in the black community is we are bred to be financially insecure. So when you get money, you think about keeping your money. I'm not investing. I'm going to keep this because I don't know if I have to save this for a rainy day. You know, you don't know what you're going to have. You know, believe in yourself, because you've seen too many times where so-and-so had all this money and then so-and-so doesn't have it now. And we get that as a cautionary tale on one level, but it's also like a stay in check reminder from the other side of the equation. On another level, I think what happens is, and I say this very honestly, we have to stop doing business like we were taught by our slave masters.
Oh, preach.
We cannot do it the way they do it. The business structure that we have now is a flawed business structure. And I understand, even if you just break down what the purpose of inflation is, the inflation is there to make sure that poverty never leaves. You need to have poverty in order for capitalism to work. And once you start talking about that, that's where you start to get, when that's like, okay, that's got to be careful. I don't want no guns coming after me. But when you mess with their money, that is when they kill you. When you get to that, I mean, you know, it's just one thing, you can speak. In America, you have freedom of speech, but it'll cost you. Will make
and here's the thing, though. They don't always have to kill you physically. They can kill your career. They can kill your voice. They can kill your contracts. They can kill anything that you got in the works if you start going off script a little bit too much for them.
Absolutely.
You know?
So I would say we have to come up with our own business paradigm. And again, I say this even to this day. You know, the fact that we have been suckered into believing in the baller mentality and $1 million, like $1 million is still $1 million. Well, that's not no real money. It's like, so you get for example, you get on a show like Empire, and I'm not saying anything negative about Jussie Smollett, but you're arguing with who gets more than who and who makes the lion's share of the money, and you don't feel you're getting your just due when you're doing your craft that you love to do. But now we put a value on ourselves because Hollywood has told us who's hotter gets more, who's bigger gets more. And then you start to think about it and you start comparing yourself to that person, as opposed to literally looking at what you're doing and how your life is turning out. And they create, that's what marketing is. Marketing is creating an appetite for something that doesn't exist and creating a space where you need to have it now in order to function.
Well, I would say that they've done that to our community as a whole.
Yes.
It's like we got to have the latest this. We've got to look a certain way. Our hair has to be a certain way. Our clothes got to look a certain. We got to have that label. And you said something a few minutes ago. We're bred to be broke almost. I mean, we're bred to stay in that poverty mentality. And I think it's up to us to break out of that mentality. How do you feel about the subject of reparations? I know you agreed to hang out with us a little bit longer, and I know this is a deep subject, but how do you feel about that subject and what that looks like for us?
It needs to be dealt with, but it's farcical on one level. The farcical part of it is not that you don't owe, you definitely owe, but you could not pay me enough for the murder and things that have been done to us in slavery.
Preach. Exactly.
There is no number. So at the very least, for starters, I think working in reverse engineering, anybody that quote unquote comes through that filter, black especially, shouldn't be paying taxes.
Oh, can you say that again? Can you? Okay, call 1-888-349.
I like that one.
I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, because you can't. I mean, okay, so you want to give nobody money, but let them keep the money they make. Then
Yeah.
they don't owe taxes, and of course, in the greedy culture, everybody if they said blacks didn't have to pay taxes, we'd have 100% blacks in America. Nobody would claim any other race. So that's why I understand that problem also.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there should be something from the very start of us not having to pay taxes. And anything for sure, when you have conclusive situations where they're doing all this DNA testing now, or they're finding where the ancestry.
They know who black.
Right.
So when you start to get that down, you should be able to be okay. According to Ancestry.com, I'm so and so and such and such. I should be on the list for no tax. I don't pay X, Y, Z, because that's the beginning of the reparation problem. Because you can't come up with a number. Because again, you still live in America, so you give us a number.
Oh, they're still trying to talk about the 40 acres and a mule and how the inflation would look on that and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, but still, that's the problem with the paradigm. Why I keep saying we got to come up with our own business thing.
Our own system.
You'll put it through that paradigm, and then you'll tax us based on the paradigm you put it through. So really, we'll get half of what you actually said you're going to give us, because we got to pay taxes on what you gave us. And then this thing called gift tax and all this other stuff that comes into it that now makes it reduce the level. So, gross is not gross anymore. Gross is really net. And when you start to really break down what your net is based on how things are calculated again, it's a design that is so flawed. If you just do simple math, if anybody knows what a pyramid scheme is, it's like at one point, which is what Homeboy went to jail for back in the day, at a certain point, it's not going to ever make sense. Right. You're going to have to run out.
Well, Mr. Kool, I have one. I'm so impressed and inspired by what you're talking about right now. But my question is this information is out there. I know me and Marty talk about it in front of the camera, behind the camera. You obviously live it. How did you get to where you're at right now, to where your consciousness is where it's at? Because there were people that came through the doors just like you in the industry and didn't land where you're at consciously. How did you get to this point?
Well, it definitely starts from mother and father, and that's not going to make it like I had a Pollyanna upbringing, because my father did sell drugs and my mother did use drugs. So I come up in a very dysfunctional kind of environment, but the intellect that they focused on and the things that we talked about, the fact that my father had the autobiography, the Malcolm X thing on his nightstand or whatever.
Too.
We were being told about that stuff at a young age. And remember, as I'm a kid, I'm coming into watching Muhammad Ali being stripped of his title and not being able to fight for 3 years, and then I have to have this information coming at me at 8 years old about what is Vietnam, what is the war, what is the anti-war, what is this about, what is the no Viet Cong ever called me nigga, blah. Oh, wait a minute, he came back, he got the medal, he couldn't eat because they were having sit-ins and he couldn't eat in the restaurant with the gold medal, so he threw his medal away. So when I start to look at my childhood, the people that are impressing me is Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, and Malcolm X. Those are my three archetypes outside of my father. So I always focused on there's a bigger picture, and it's not what you see is not necessarily what is necessarily true. So America works on a lot of illusionary stuff. So, and I was able to critical think, and I think that's what's lacking now. We have such
critical thinking is so huge.
So I was able to critically think my way around the neighborhood just early. Drugs were never appealing to me. It was never a struggle. I never smoked, I never drank, I never got high in my life to this day.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Kool, you're not gonna believe this. And I feel like this is I feel you and I need to connect in some way on this. People out in the audience, I'm 52 years old, I'll be 52 this year. I have never, ever done drugs. And people think that that's so unusual. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah. We ain't gonna talk about it.
Because I really,
you know what I'm saying, Marty? You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm coming from?
Well, you keep that side over there. Just don't. You see, I wanted to be a minister one day, so I wanted to experience life so I can relate to people. But no, anyway.
Well, I mean, you joking
wait a
about
minute. Let me back that up. I can't say that no more. I just realized because after my sister died, I was not sleeping well, and somebody gave me a piece of a brownie.
Gotcha. Well, I was gonna say,
but I was like, nope, I'm good.
The problem socially is when we say that, the other person or the other people automatically take the defense.
Right.
It's like, I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm
No,
saying this is just what I didn't do.
that's
You
your
think
experience.
people get very defensive about that. And I remember being separated early in hip hop because when people would go after the party and get the 40 or drink or whatever, I'm like, nah, I'm good. And again, like I said, I could really fight. So you couldn't, call me a nerd or get away with
Hello.
anything that you would normally, because I was very, very, very Ali like nice in my hand. So at the end of the day, I would brag about that and take that position where I'm comfortable. Like, it's no threat. I don't have to worry about get high or getting drugs or whatever. And when I think about this day, I'm very good, very glad I came up when I did, because the mouth I had and the way I used to let the police have it. The police stopped me in a yellow Benz back in the day, and they said my car was suspicious because it was reported in a getaway car. I'm like, a yellow Mercedes Benz, a getaway car.
Exactly.
And I had no problem because my father had a mouth. So I come from a mouth. What are you stopping me for? What are you pulling me over for? License, registration. What are you pulling? I would give them lip.
Exactly.
Nowadays, I'm like, woo, I'm probably, if I was a little late, I might have been shot.
It might be a different story. Guys, we're talking to Mr. Kool Moe-Dee. This is such a powerful, mind-blowing conversation that people need to hear. These are the conversations we need to be having, that we need to be having. And I'm so thankful that we're getting the opportunity to share it on our platform and share it on other platforms where people can see that there are conscious people out there. And I'm just thankful that you're one of them. I'm just thankful for your voice, man. So
thank you for being a part of the show. Really, really appreciate this now.
Very cool, man.
And if we're going to ask you back, probably in a few more months to see after the climate changes, if anything really shifts, we may bring you back on as a recap or a reflection of where we are going in the direction. So this has been a blessing for us. And hopefully, you would join us sooner.
And tell us about that project you're working on,
Oh, yes, you got to come back for that.
Yeah, absolutely. When I pull it together, and again, because of the monetary level, I want it to be done on the level it should be done. I don't want it to be like Rudy put it out online. Like, no, we are like.
So do we need to be calling in some big guns for you right now? You got that covered.
Any big gun, those.
A little bit of something beats a whole lot of nothing.
Come on now.
Everybody, y'all are listening to Donnie Jones Live right now with Mr. Kool Moe-Dee, where we thank him for being a part, and we're going to have to take a quick break, and we will be right back. You're listening to Donnie Jones with Donnie Jones and Marty McFly.
It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live, Donnie Jones Live.
Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady, and that is
I, Marty McFly, who is just, and just so happy that brother was able to hang out with us.
Oh my gosh, dude, that was off the chain. That was absolutely off the chain. And Marty, I think the thing that got me was the way that he talked about how a lot of what has happened in this country is based on propaganda. And who controls the media, and then you have a sense that even when consciousness started to rise, all of a sudden the mainstream media was like, whoa, let's back up away from that and go in a different direction. I mean, remember when Public Enemy came out? Actually, we had just talked about that, just heard that.
Public Enemy. I was a big fan of KRS-One because he was a knowledge person. It wasn't just shake around, shake the booty, shake it. It was like, let me talk to you.
Mop.
That's out there. Yeah, it was a consciousness, and it was music with a purpose, with the meaning, and that shift now that today's society or the music that is on the radio now is just for you to dance to, but you're not listening to the words. You're not listening. You're not encouraging anybody. It's just mop.
Yeah. But here's the thing though, Marty, in my opinion, I think going back to what Kool Moe-Dee was saying is we do have to raise the consciousness. I think right now the consciousness is being raised. There's something happening, and hopefully we can keep this going. Hopefully we can go, wait a minute, things aren't right. Let's stand up and change things and do it collectively. And I think one of the best ways we can do that is through ownership, us owning our own voices. You know, we even talked about, I think on the interview, why some of the big wigs in hip hop and in production and the media and the movies, why didn't they get together back then and get our own Miramax or our own,
but they wanted to be safe. You know, I think a lot of them wanted to be safe. I read an article not too long ago, because it was a little bit of beef or, little spite between Spike Lee and Eddie Murphy. And Spike Lee was saying, Eddie at the movie, I think he's with Paramount, but he's like, why aren't there more black people working at the Paramount Studios? Why aren't more black people? And Spike Lee saying, well, Eddie doesn't have a voice like that. Eddie's not using his voice, like that to help more African Americans get jobs.
Right.
And Eddie is like, hold on, I don't own Paramount.
Right.
He's like, I got black African Americans working in my studios and my, projects. But if I go into that head corporate office and say, this whole company needs to hire more black people. We need to have black people all over. They say, black man, get out my office. He didn't say black man, but
that's what they would be thinking.
That's what they'd be thinking. And it's like, look, we can, and even like Ice-T one time. And I remember this a long time when I was doing more music stuff. But he had a real arrogance about himself, that he was bigger than life.
Yeah.
And they had this big boardroom table.
Right.
And they put a quarter, actually a dime, on the table and said, this table represents Warner Brothers. This dime represents Ice-T.
Wow.
Understand that power, that we own all of this. This is who we are.
Right.
You want to stand up and fight the power against us.
Right.
Make sure you know what you're up against. And can you do more help in this arena? I ain't gonna say playing the role, playing in but in a sense, staying in your lane, but figuring out ways to help your community. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but it's like, instead of going in and demanding, well, because I'm black, you need to hire more black people.
Right, but don't you think what Kool D was saying was that there are some of us that do have the power to come together.
Oh, yes.
And start putting and I think we are starting to put our own content out.
We are
owning radio stations.
We're owning stuff like that. I'm saying, like, I give so much props to Tyler Perry.
Studios. That's what I was literally getting ready to say.
Studio here, major. But even in that, he didn't do it with someone.
Right.
It's not like he didn't do it with 40 Acres and a Mule. He didn't do Spike Lee, or Oprah didn't say, well, let's do one together, because we have a thing of, this mine.
Right.
And I'll work
with what you're saying.
You can hire me to help you. We can do some projects together, but I still want to have my own control of my own ownership, because I don't want to be told what to do. And this is just me, or I don't want to compromise. I don't know what the real reason is. And so everybody understand this. I am not an expert in this one.
I'm not an expert in this one either.
These are just my thoughts of, what the conversation that we were having with Kumo about, why aren't we working together? But we do that on a local level too, not even the big levels. Like, let me ask you this. Would you combine your tree service with another tree service?
Yeah. To grow? Yeah. I mean, I would want to buy it or partner with them, but yeah.
You would want to buy half of theirs, or?
There would have to be some type of financial partnership where, we would have to have a meeting of the minds so that we make sure that he's getting or she's getting what she wants, I get what I want. And we build this collective of, I wouldn't mind. I'm open. I used to not be open-minded to that. I used to be. Yeah.
You know what?
But I know in order to grow, I'm going to have to acquire other companies or work with other companies. Like right now, we are working with other companies with our stumps and stuff like that. Yeah. We partner with other people.
Have you ever thought about working with like some experts and like making it a family thing or anything?
You know what? I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna hurt you.
You can grow a lot bigger.
I definitely ain't going down that road.
Oh, okay.
Why are you trying to be funny, man?
I just like using your testimonies, and just bringing them
Yeah,
back to
no.
awareness.
Okay, there are some partnerships that don't work because the people ain't right.
Because we don't work together. Listen, if y'all have a thought or anything about today's show, about something that we said, if y'all want to reach out to us, you know what? If you want to be actually on the show, you got something going on in your community and want to talk to us, give us a call. Let us know what's going on. And now, here's a disclaimer too. Okay,
Marty.
Now I just got to put it out there. Now I don't mind. We don't mind helping people and all that kind of stuff. But this is. Don't just call us and say, look, I need to beg for some stuff because I need a house that need to be built, and can I get on the show to see if I can get, somebody to go fund me?
Right.
Usually we don't.
Yeah, we're
don't
not
do about
that.
Those. Just being honest, because we get those.
But if you have a project or a service that you would like to talk about, promote, or get on the show, give us a call. Let us know what's going on with you. At 1-888-349-DONI. That's 1-888-349-DONI. And those letters stands for 3664. 1-889-349-3664. The other thing, we would love it if you guys that are listening, if every single one of you that's listening to us right now would go to YouTube, look up Doni Jones Live. That's DONI Jones Live. Like and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the little button so you can get notifications and tell us what you think, because we really love what we do. Plus, you get a chance to see me and Marty's face.
Yes.
Check us out.
Yeah, I don't put all this makeup on and everything for nothing.
That's a lot. Let's do it again.
You gotta, I didn't wake up like this. Well, I ain't gonna lie there. I just wiped it and just actually.
But last week you was looking. I'm not saying you don't look.
You know what? That's one of those things that we're gonna talk about. Maybe next week, because people would say things and it's like, well, what did I look like before? Like people say,
it was like you had a fresh haircut or something. In fact, you make me want see these little nappy naps. I gotta go get my.
When people say you look good now,
no,
it makes you think about, well, what did I look like back then? Well, no, you didn't look bad then, but you just look better now.
You did not look bad, and nobody is saying you looked bad.
Yeah. I just get a little sensitive sometimes. But and Donnie, I'm gonna just throw out another little shameless plug for those individuals, those males that want to be a part. And this is the free, it's like men helping men group session. That we are discussing and actually talking to Kool. He said that he would not have a problem with being a part of it. Yeah. It's the I Am Adam men's group conversation that I am initiating actually this month, the second Monday, the third Monday actually of July. And it's about, understanding who we are as men, and it's basing a lot of things off of the life and understanding of Adam. It's only about 6 weeks. This first one, we're only going to do about 6 weeks, but it's understanding about being responsible and being acceptable to your job and your purpose, because jobs are different.
If you know a young man that could benefit from the program Marty is putting together, I Am Adam. If you know of a young man and what's the age group that you're looking for?
No, just making sure. If you know of an old man, because
young man,
we have some full-grown boys out here in the world too,
right,
that needs guidance. And sometimes the older, in Africa, you have those tribes that the older help the young and the young help the old too. And it was a community of like minds that says, because look, I'm a man. I've been a man all my life, but I am not an expert. Right. On male things, and some things that I can learn from my elders, and I got other people that are specializing in just self-improvement, self-awareness, self-improvement, because even at an older age, we can still learn more. That's we can start evaluating what do we need to do in our Garden of Eden. After our job is done, after we finish naming our animals, what is still our purpose?
Right. Right.
We still have to take care of our land, and understanding that sometimes when we think that we are put to sleep or have a nighttime, like God, put Adam to sleep and he yanked his rib out, it was for a blessing, right. So we have to understand that, and then also being accountable to your own actions, You know, when God asks you, did you do this, or, you know, he puts a responsibility or a rule up,
Right.
you know, don't try to blame the other person. It wasn't my fault. It was your fault, God. The woman that you gave me, you know, is your fault. So let's be accountable to ourselves. But anyway, we got to run, Donnie.
I love that, man. I love it.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. Check out Marty's group, I Am Adam. Check out Donnie Jones Live. We love your love and support. We love you guys. We look forward to talking with you, seeing you next week. And what were you going to say, Marty?
Just giving out that phone number. If you want to be a part and you don't want to just email, you can email me at Marty. Because now this is the pastor thing. Marty Ringer, RMARDY, Ringer, RINGER @gmail.com. Or you can call us at Donnie. Don't look up the numbers or whatever. But 1-888-349 Donnie. That's 1-888-349 with 644.
Oh my God, Donnie. Marty.
Oh,
1-888-349-3664. That's 1-889.
And you reading the paper.
What's the number again?
1-888-349 DONI. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a blessed week.
Y'all have a great week.
Be safe this weekend, okay? Stay safe.
I'm going to say the number one more time because we did jack that one up. It's 1-888-349 Donnie. That's 1-888-349-3664.
There you go. All right. Much love. Happy 4th, happy Independence weekend, and y'all be safe, and we will talk to you next week.
Yeah.
It's Donnie Jones Live. Donnie Jones Live. It's Donnie Jones Live.